Judy, thanks very much. Good morning, everyone. And I'm just honored to be able to participate in the leadership of AWEA, and want to thank Tristan for trying to teach a blade guy what it's going to take to continue to advance the wind market going forward. We've accomplished a great deal as an industry, without a doubt. Today, as you know, wind is economics. It's mainstream, it's clean, it's desired by pretty much every customer you might imagine: retail, corporate, homeowners, Democrats, Republicans, independents, utilities. The list of our buyers who want more of what we're doing is growing every day. Utilities are decarbonizing our electric sector. It's happening. And they're growing their businesses at the same time, based on wind, solar, transmission, and some storage as well. Think about Xcel, Steel for Fuel, building that into their rate base to help just grow their business in general as well. Think about Mid-American with 100% renewables vision as a utility. Pretty remarkable what's going on. And this is happening without our government's commitment at the moment to the Clean Power Plan or Paris. It's about the business and a whole lot more. Our costs have come down in a tremendous way. As you know, 67% over the last 8 years. That's semiconductor stuff, right? I mean, that's remarkable cost out work that's been accomplished by the industry. We're a public company, meet with investors all the time, and I'm surprised by the fact that they're surprised at just how economic wind has become today, how big we are, how significant a percentage of the electric sector in some individual utilities and territories. We negotiated the PTC phase down in 2015 and then defended it vigorously last year. It's working as designed as a glide path. Last year, 10 gigawatts was safe harbored under the 80% PTC orders, helping us with that 10 gigawatts, vast majority of which should be installed in the 2021 timeframe. With utilities participation and some of the work we're doing in improved financing mechanism, I'm kind of curious to see what 60% might do in 22 and what 40% might be able to do beyond that. So we bought ourselves some stability and some time, not a lot of time, but some time, to continue to work on the improvements that we need to make going forward. So if it's about economics, we better get smart about the economics of what we're doing. And we better build some more demand for what we're doing. So a couple of months ago, Jim Robo, the CEO of NextEra, made what may be a bold prediction. He said $20 to $25 per megawatt hour will be the unsubsidized price of wind in the early 2020s, $35 if you add cost-effective storage to that. Bold prediction? Maybe. I think it's something we ought to strive for. If we're cheaper than the marginal price of coal at that point in time, could become even more interesting. So look, when it's about economics, I think it's time for all of us to dig in and compete that much harder, right? You're seeing that in the industry today, driving cost and competing. So if we can be cheaper than the marginal price of coal, how much coal can we be retiring then? So today I think we're at about 6 gigawatts a year or so on average. Can we improve on that number as well? From a TPI standpoint, our history was as a boat builder in Providence, Rhode Island. For those of you that are boaters, builders of J-boats and Pearson yachts. We turned a small boat company into one of the largest global wind blade manufacturing companies. We have a large operation as pictured in Newton, Iowa. We have about 1,000 Americans employed in that factory in Newton, and many veterans as well. Our whole industry is doing this. We're creating an efficient global and American supply chain and helping to leverage that to drive down cost. So in terms of AWEA, AWEA is pivoting a bit. We used to be pretty focused on DC and the production tax credit. We have a lot of programs doing other things, but when push came to shove, man, that's where a lot of our energy and our focus went to. AWEA is pivoting and becoming more strategically focused, more commercially connected to what we must be focused on to make sure that we continue to improve our great industry, supported by appropriate incremental policies. From a demand standpoint, there are now 131 corporations that have signed the Renewable Energy 100 pledge, and that number continues to grow. Cities like Chicago and Los Angeles and many others are making major commitments, as you heard the mayor speak about. state initiatives, state of New York and others that are driving, from their perspective, some pretty strong mandates. It's amazing to me when major data center companies come to states like Arizona, where I live, and talk to the governor and say, I want to build a data center here, but who exactly am I buying my wind or solar energy from? Our Republican governors are taking note, and they darn well better. Offshore wind is starting to grow, and hopefully in the U.S. We'll continue to really build off the couple of projects that are moving there. Costs are coming down in a significant way there as well. We're especially excited about the EV space. I think many of you are as well, whether it's cars or buses or trucks. Picture here is a Proterra electric bus, and just imagine 100% clean energy transportation solution powered by wind and solar in the buses and trucks and cars that we all ride in. And as Tristan mentioned, the potential for a price on carbon, if you think about the decarbonization work that's going on, it's the next logical extension to what's been happening so far. So utilities are committed to decarbonizing. Think with utilities, in addition, about AEP, 80% CO2 reduction goal by 2050, 80%. Probably an even harder goal is 60% by 2030. If you think about it from their perspective, Duke, 40% reduction, CO2 emission reduction target by 2030, and as the way they describe it, mapping themselves onto the 2 degrees C target. So it is about carbon, it is about decarbonizing, it is about climate change. Investors are getting on board, big investors are getting on board. BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, 70% of institutional investment dollars are now going through ESG filters, environmental social governance. A lot of that early on was about the governance part. The E part's heating up in those discussions in a big way as well. And folks like Larry Fink from BlackRock, who are saying through proxy, address climate change. Our governments aren't all doing it, CEOs need to, or we'll find another CEO for your fine company. A couple of the campaigns that I'm particularly fond of, Anheuser-Busch, 100% renewable push, and Heineken's Drop the C campaign, the C standing for carbon. So at your parties tonight, please toast the corporate leaders that are pushing this thing forward for economic and other very good reasons. Would encourage you to do so. So I'm looking forward to the next year. In our company, we lean forward, we push hard, we take the challenges head on, and we celebrate our successes as well. And I look forward to celebrating the success and tackling the challenges with each of you. Thanks very much.